Well, the F1 season is about to be upon us, and I think it's time to do some season predictions, because these always go over so very well. I'm just going to be making about 7 predictions, so that way I have a better chance of not embarrassing myself later in this year. So here we go. The first prediction is world champion, and I'm gonna go a tiny bit with a wild card and say Lewis Hamilton. I do think it's gonna be a 3-way fight between him, Max, and George, but I think Lewis will come out on top. I know some of you might be yelling at your screen saying, what about Ferrari? Well, I do think Ferrari will be in the championship lead in the first maybe 3 rounds. It's clear from last year that they cannot develop a car. I know that they now have a bunch of new people spearheading their team and development, but in my mind, Mercedes and Red Bull have the experience in the situations and know how to upgrade their cars over a season. Also, Ferrari can't get a good freaking strategy together, so that'll be a massive issue for them as well. The second prediction is flop of the year, and I'm actually going to go with Oscar Piastri, solely because I think people are putting way too much pressure on a kid who's only 21, and I don't think he'll meet their absurdly high expectations. I think these are mostly coming from salty Ricardo fans, but the guy, again, he's only 21, and in his first season of F1, people are for some reason expecting him to match and even beat Lando Norris, who's going to be going into his 5th F1 season, and that's simply not going to happen. I'm not trying to say Oscar Piastri is going to be a second off Lando and Tran like Daniel, but I'm just saying that people should lower expectations and expect him to be around 3 to 4 tenths off Lando. My third prediction is that Mercedes will win the 2023 Constructors' Championship. I know I'm gonna get some hate for this, but just let me explain. If Mercedes do come to the season with a championship contending car, I don't really see why they couldn't win. They have the best lineup in F1, no doubt about that. Red Bull do have an absolutely excellent lineup, but what the past 2 years have shown is that it's just gonna be the Verstappen show. Checo can't seem to consistently be at the front with Max, and I think that's going to be their biggest problem. The Mercedes duo are just extremely consistent, and we're very close to each other every race weekend, so if that carries from 2022 over to this season, I don't see why they won't win the Constructors. My fourth prediction is that Ferrari will struggle. Like I said before, I think in the first few rounds that they will do well, but then they'll fall off around round 5. I think they'll still fight for podiums, but they'll be in a fight with teams like McLaren and Alpine. But it's clear from last year, and every single season since 2008, that they cannot develop a car. They always come out swinging, and they start off well, but then fall off, like 2016 Monaco Red Bull pit stop, which funnily enough Ferrari replicated in 2022. Also, the inconsistency of Carlos Sainz last year does worry me a bit. He did put up the pace in the last handful of rounds and was closer to Leclerc, but he did still have moments that showed that he isn't as consistent as Leclerc, and that might be a big issue going into the season. My fifth prediction is that there will be a shock winner. In recent seasons, there's either been a shock podium or a shock winner, so I'm gonna go with shock winner. I think it'll either be Lando Norris or Lance Stroll. I'm just joking, of course. I think it's either going to be Lando or one of the Alpine guys. I think they all do have a decent chance to win because A, they're all obviously very talented, and B, they all have the car to do so. Hey, maybe even Alex Albon could get a shock win, which, funnily enough, leads me to my next prediction. My sixth prediction is that Williams will step up. I'm just going to be predicting this until they finally do so yeah, they'll absolutely definitely be fighting for podiums this year. Obviously, I'm joking, but I do think that they'll have a decent step up this year, and hopefully be where they were in 2021. If they can consistently get Alex or Logan into Q2, it'll be a very good step up. I think this year they're going to get around 20 points in total, and of course all coming from the absolute GOAT. My seventh and final prediction is kind of multiple and not really F1. It's about the F1 feeder series. I'm just going to try and predict the champions of F2 and F3. For F2, I'm actually going to say Owasa. He's a bit questionable, but through the season, he showed a metric ton of pace and absolutely shut up the haters, including me. To be honest, he looks like one of the more promising Red Bull juniors in F2, because there's like a million of them in there, and even above Dennis Hauger. And now to F3, I'm going to say it's actually going to be Johnny Edgar. Kid is a great driver and another one of those decently promising Red Bull juniors. Last year, he had to unfortunately miss 4 races of the season, but he still came back for a pretty decent points haul, and that was with a Trident. Now this year he's with a much better team in MP, and he's looking like he's gonna gear up for a title challenge. And oh, by the way, while I'm on F3, PHM, what the hell are you guys doing getting Sophia Flörsch? Like, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but like, come on. Obviously get Alessio Deletta. Obviously, I'm joking. But that's it. Those are all of my predictions that are gonna age very, very well, and I'm definitely not gonna get canceled for any of them. Though, I'll be actually reacting to these at the end of the season, so you'll see this video again very soon. See you guys then. Bye-bye.